Welcome to another episode of the Rocky Top Rundown, the show where we give you the information you need about Tennessee athletics. I'm Lexi O'Haver.
And I'm Grace Lovinski.
This Halloween weekend was packed with home and away games. The number 9 Lady Vols soccer team took on Kentucky this past weekend with the SEC title on the line. Let's take a look at the action. The Lady Vols are seen here preparing for their last regular season game of the year. This game also doubled as senior night for 5 of the players. In the first half, in the second minute, Kentucky with a corner kicked and is stopped by UT, cleared out of danger. In the 7th minute, Mackenzie George scores her 5th goal of the season, making the score 1-0 with Tennessee in the lead early. Smoky is seen celebrating here as the Vols take the early lead. In the 30th minute, Taylor Huff is able to dish the ball to Jada Thomas in the middle of the field, and she elevates it into the net of the volley for her 8th goal of the season and a 2-0 lead for the Lady Vols. Now in the second half, Kentucky is able to run down to Tennessee's half, but it is stopped before a shot. Kentucky goes on another run and this time is able to get a shot off, but Abby Burnett blocks it before it makes it into the net. Tennessee would hold on to this win in 2-0 and clinch the SEC East title. Tennessee is currently playing the University of Florida in the SEC tournament and is up 2-1 at the end of the first half.
Not only is the Lady Vols soccer team back-to-back SEC division champs, but they also have SEC postseason honors that need mentioning as well. Head coach Brian Pensky is the SEC Coach of the Year. Mackenzie George made it to the first team All-SEC. Jordan Fusco, Taylor Huff, Claire Rain made the SEC All-Freshman team. Jada Thomas, Ren French, and Taylor Huff made the second All-SEC team. And last but not least, Taylor Huff is the SEC Freshman of the Year.
Next up, our very own Nate Tosado got to sit down with senior Lady Vols volleyball player Lily Feltz to talk about her life in volleyball and her time at Tennessee.
The Tennessee Lady Vols have dominated this season thanks to their senior outside hitter, Lily Feltz.
Feltz from the back. Boy, Lily Feltz, if you stop one, there's another rising to the top. Here at Rocky Top, 8 kills for the Knoxville native.
I'm outside Thompson Bowling Arena, home of the Lady Vols volleyball team. I had the chance to sit down with senior outside hitter Lily Feltz and talk about her role as a leader, her impact on the team, and future plans.
I've played volleyball since I was 8 years old. My dad was a semi-professional sand volleyball in Clearwater, Florida, and I grew up in Knoxville, and so when the first volleyball club opened up in Knoxville, Club K2 Volleyball, me and my dad both joined immediately. He was a coach and I was a player there in 2009 when it first opened, and I just have played volleyball ever since. I've never stopped. Both my siblings play. We're just a huge volleyball family, and so I got my start in volleyball pretty much because of my dad, because he suggested it to me and I took it on and I loved it right away.
Lily would be coached under her dad all throughout high school and in 2017 become state champions.
Playing for my dad was an integral part of how I became the player I am today. He coached me quite a few years in club volleyball and 5 years in high school volleyball, and getting to play for him taught me a lot. He held me to a much higher standard than I think I would have been held to under another coach, because, you know, coach's kid, they're always expected to do more, be more. So I was held to a really high standard, and he expected a lot of me, but he did it with love at the same time. So I think it put me in a really good environment to grow as a player and become who I am today.
Today, Lily Feltz is a team captain for the Lady Vols, and she doesn't take her responsibilities lightly.
Being able to be a captain and leader on this team is a really big deal to me. I've really grown in this program, and I think I've definitely grown as a player since becoming a freshman, and I didn't really have a leadership role as much when I was a freshman. I played, but I wasn't necessarily a leader, so I've definitely grown into that position, I think, and my fellow captains have helped me step into that as well. Natalie and Danielle have done a great job of holding me accountable, and the coaches have done a great job of asking me to do more as a leader on the court.
It's really huge. I think she's one of the most competitive people on our team. So I think she brings that fire every single day, and you can count on her to be in base.
This experience has meant more to me than I think anyone could ever know. I grew up a Lady Vol. I idolized Pat Summit. And, you know, Kelsey Robinson, who played here and just won an Olympic gold medal in volleyball. I was a ball girl when she was playing, and I used to throw balls to her when she went back to serve in Thompson Bowling. So being able to play here and, like, be a part of that Lady Vol legacy really means a lot to me, because there's hundreds of other little girls just like me in Tennessee and in Knoxville that want to be in my place. So to think that, so for them to look and be able to see that I was once them, I think it means a lot to the community, and it means a lot to me.
It's no doubt that Lily is a Vol for life. You can catch her and the rest of the Lady Vols right here at Thompson Bowling Arena at their next home event. For the Rocky Top Rundown, I'm Nate Tosado.
The Tennessee basketball team got to kickstart their season in Thompson Bowling Arena this past Saturday in an exhibition match against Lenoir-Rhyne. There were many new faces on the court for the Volunteers. Let's get into the highlights. Starting in the second half, Euros Plavsic gets a huge steal that leads to a monster slam, which puts up the Vols 65-43. You see here we have Bailey to Justin Powell, feeds it to Olivier Kumwa for an easy layup under the basket. And Kumwa comes back with a putback attempt, but was fouled and is knocked down in one of his free throws. And the score is 68-49, and freshman Brandon Huntley Hatfield shows a nice spin move to the basket. And freshman Ziegler makes a steal and bolts down, making an easy left-handed layup. And Justin Powell, guard from Kentucky, misses from the three, but gets a second shot, and boom, he drains it. Later in the second quarter, Vescovi kicks it to freshman Jemai Mashak for the smooth three-pointer. Mashak then comes back with a hard drive and gets fouled and gets the free throw line, but can't connect. And with the score 96-60, Ziegler crosses over and drives aggressive to the hoop for a reverse layup. Ziegler one and more and pulls a beautiful three-pointer from deep, making the score 103-60. With 0.7 seconds left, Lenoir-Rhyne runs the clock for a Tennessee Vols victory. The final score was 103-62. And the Vols' next game is scheduled for next Tuesday, November 9th, facing UT Martin at home. This game will begin at 7 p.m., and you can watch it on the SEC Network.
Brandon Schoen is going to tell us more about why and when the Smokies baseball team will call Knoxville their home once more.
The Tennessee Smokies look to return back to Knoxville since their departure from Bill Meyer Stadium back in 1999. Plans for relocation began all the way back in 2016. Randy Boyd, president of the University of Tennessee Knoxville and current owner of the Smokies, did not renew the current contract of the stadium with Sevier County, which expires in 2024, but instead seeks to provide a new home for the Cubs affiliate. The proposed multi-use stadium for downtown Knoxville is expected to cost around $80 million, approximately $15.5 more than their original $60 million goal. With a perfectly acceptable stadium located in Kodak, why move? Doug Kirchhoffer, CEO of the Smokies and Boyd Sports, has this to say.
The decision making is really based upon the public sector, the city and possibly the county, deciding that they're interested in and able to build a publicly funded, publicly owned stadium that would then be leased to the team to use as a home field. Over half of our fans still come from Knoxville and Knox County. So there could be a lot of advantages for the city of Knoxville and Knox County as far as further development in order to build a stadium. If they were to build a stadium, it could be advantageous for the Smokies in bringing them closer to what represents the center of their fan base. And so there's a lot of reasons to consider it, but ultimately the city and the county will have to make the decision to build a stadium or indicate the willingness to build a stadium before the team would be faced with a decision of whether to move.
The destination for the stadium is set to be built where the Knox Rail Salvage Yard once stood, off East Jackson Avenue and adjacent to the Old City. The stadium would have an estimated capacity of around 7,000 seats, support over 3,000 local jobs in the process, and become a catalyst for redevelopment in East Knoxville.
It's really an area that is very, very commercial and very much underutilized. There's a lot of vacant, unutilized space in that area.
While all that sounds great, wouldn't there be any negatives to building a new stadium?
Negative attitudes about stadium construction have to do with the location, that they are too close to neighborhoods, that they create too much traffic. And we've had very little of that because of the location adjacent to the old city that is under consideration.
Assuming all things continue as expected, the timeline for the stadium to be built is by the end of 2024, if not sooner. For the Rocky Top Rundown, I'm Brandon Schoen.
Over the weekend, the Lady Vols tennis team hosted the Tennessee Fall Invitational. Winning 4 singles and all 3 doubles matches, the Tennessee women's tennis team powered through its first day of action at the Tennessee Fall Invitational. The Tennessee women's tennis team claimed victory in 4 of 6 doubles matches on day 2 of the Tennessee Fall Invitational. UT began the afternoon by sweeping its 3 matches with Kentucky, before taking 1 of 3 matches against Vanderbilt. 9 victories between singles and doubles highlighted day 3 of the Tennessee Fall Invitational for the women's tennis team. Tennessee began the morning by facing Illinois in 6 singles matches before facing Wake Forest in 4 doubles matches in the afternoon. The Lady Vols concluded the day with 5 single matches against Kentucky. In all, UT competed in 15 matches with a 6-5 singles mark and a 3-1 record in doubles. On the final day of the weekend event, the Tennessee women's tennis team finished off singles play with 5 victories in 7 matches. For the weekend, the Lady Vols earned 25 victories between singles and doubles. All 5 teams in the event were finished in the 2021 campaign in the top 35 as a team.
And that's all we have for today. Thank you for tuning in. From myself, Lexi, and all of our crew here, thanks for watching and stay tuned for our next show of Rocky Top Rundown this Thursday.